Please, the court, my lord. Brigadier Yena, good morning.
Sorry, I didn't hear. My apologies, my lord. I couldn't hear.
No, I'm saying just good morning.
Oh, good morning, Advocate Mnisi.
You know, there's something that has been bugging me here.
Sorry, the just still under oath.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, my lord. Yes, no check, my lord.
You know, there's something that has been bugging me here, and it still continues to bug me. That has been happening for some time. I'm trying to decipher what is the imperative that when a suspect gets arrested by a police, items that are found in his possession are supposed to be seized, and if it's supposed to be put in a cell, those are supposed to be registered in the relevant books at the police station.
So there are more than one reasons, my lord. Firstly, if the items are not going to be used as exhibits on the case or utilized as evidence or to obtain further evidence, those items will be seized and then put on what you call SAP 22, which is a prisoner's property register. In other words, it's a property belonging to the prisoner. They've got nothing to do with the case in question or forming parts of the exhibit. Now, in that part, as and when the arrested person is released from prison or he gives a permission to the next of kin or whoever that he mandates to take that item, such item will then be released to that person at the arrested person's directive. So that's the first part.
Umbuzo lana uthi-ke Advocate Mnisi uthi kunento-ke lana engihluphayo ukuthi kungani uma uboshwa umuntu lokho okuthole kuyena-ke bese kuyathathwa noma kuzobhalwa kuy'ncwadi zamaphoyisa kugcine-ke la egcina khona. Okokuqala-ke noma-ke esokuqala isizathu engasisho ukuthi-ke kuyathathwa lokho uma kuwukuthi mhlawumbe lokho okutholiwe umuntu oboshiwe kuzosetshenziswa nanjengobufakazi. Uma kuwukuthi akuzosetshenziswa nanjengobufakazi kubhalwa-ke kwiregister ebizwa ngokuthi SAP 22 ukuthi-ke yiloko okwalowo oboshiwe noma-ke phecelezi i-Prisoners Property Register ukuthi uma ngabe esededelwa-ke noma uma yena-ke ethi kunomuntu othize womndeni engithi nimnikeze.
Now the second one, my lord, relates to when the exhibit or the seized item, the police are of the view that they'll utilize it as evidence or they want to conduct further investigation on it, in trying to obtain evidence. Now such item will then be seized still from the arrested person, entered in what you call SAP 13, which is a property register. That is the book that records all seized exhibits with the reference of the case number and obviously the person who sees it and the reasons thereof. Now, once it's taken there, it is now forming part of, obviously, the investigation. It depends on the item, whether it will be something that will need to be sent to the forensic if it's drugs for confirmation. Firearms, in that instance, will have to be forwarded to ballistic. Cell phones will have to be downloaded. So it depends. It depends what is in there. But those items then are seized, and they will remain there until the police have exhausted or finalized the investigation, my lord. That is the second part.
Bese kuthi okwesibili-ke manje uma kuwukuthi lokho okutholiwe kulo muntu oboshiwe noma-ke amaphoyisa athathile-ke amaphoyisa-ke asafuna ukuqhubeka nophenyo noma acabanga ukuthi-ke khona-ke ubufakazi obukhona lapho abangakuthola bese kubhalwa-ke lokho kubizwa ngokuthi i-SAP 13 phecelezi-ke i-property register noma la ekubhalwa khona-ke izinto ey'tholakele kubhalwa i-case number, igama laloyo ekuyena ozithathile kanye futhi nesizathu. Sikhuluma-ke ngobufakazi obahlukene, ibhamu, ama-cell phones, nje lokho okuthathiwe-ke lesesibili leso isizathu.
Now this item on the second part, my lord, will then be disposed accordingly after. If, for example, the matter goes to court, after the such exhibit has been utilized, this exhibit, the matter has been finalized, an order can be given by the court and then it will be disposed accordingly, depending on the order that is there. And it also depends on the items, if such item can be kept at the SAP date. In some perishable items are simply recorded and then stored accordingly. For example, the cash of money, you can't keep it in the SAP date, so it will obviously be handed back to the relevant authorities, but the chain of evidence will be maintained, my lord.
Kuya ngokuthi noma-ke icala bese liyaqhubeka-ke uma kuwukuthi manje-ke inkantolo egcineni-ke iyanquma-ke noma ikhipha isinqumo sokuthi-ke akwenziweni ngalobo bufakazi. Kuya ngokuthi-ke yini-ke lobo bufakazi lobo khulumile ngazo-ke ibhamu noma-ke kuyimali-ke imali-ke angeze igcinwe-ke yona-ke kuyona i-SAP 13 khona-ke la ezondluliselwa khona, kodwa kuya ngokuthi isiphi isinqumo ezosikhipha uma ngaba icala seliqediwe egcineni.
Yes, those are the reasons, my lord.
Yizona-ke lezo izathu.
Thank you. Just, my lord, with the leave of court, may I approach to that other microphone? I'm a little bit far. I can't hear properly. At least the echo today is not as cold as it was on Monday. Thank you, my lord.
Thank you, Brigadier. Would security be one of the considerations?
Yes, for example, if you seize a firearm from an arrested person, you can't, moving that person from the point of arrest to the police station, you can't let that person carry the firearm. I mean, there's danger. Cell phones as well, you might tend to think that if the cell phone is left with the arrested person to the detention, all manner of things. Yes, security does form part of the reasons, my lord.
Thank you.
Ingabe ke uphepha ngaba esinye yini sezathu yebo kunjalo asithi ke kutholakale isibhamu noma kutholakale isibhamu kuloyo muntu loyo uma ke umthatha kuleyo ndawo aboshelwe kuyena eseyovalelwa ke akwazi ukuthi ke isibhamu ke singahlala naye noma singaba kuyena ke so yebo ngasho ukuthi ke uphepha kanye futhi ke uma kuthi kutholakale umakhalekhukhwini akwazi ukuthi ahambe nawe bese kufica la azovalelwa khona.
Thank you, Brigadier. Now, according to information that is on record, Sergeant Mokhane and the late Sergeant Mabena, having received information with regard to the complicity of Mr. Ntanzi in this case, approached him in June on 2020 at Phuket. On the 16th of June 2020 at Phuket. Do you still remember that?
I'm aware, yes, that he was arrested by the two members on the 16th of June 2020, my lord. That is correct.
Kuyiqiniso ngiyazi ke ukuthi nge-16 June 2020 uNtanzi ke waboshwa ke ilaba ababili abashoyo ke uSergeant Mokhane kanye nongasekho uMabena.
Thank you. And then the information that is on record goes on to say that they had an interaction with him, upon which they then called you and you then went to meet them at that's now on the 18th. You then went to meet them at Sibanye Gold Mine, somewhere in Western area.
That is correct, my lord.
Kuyiqiniso ke ukuthi ke sebehlangene ke naye ke noma ke bekhulumile naye ke uNtanzi uMokhane nongasekho ke uMabena base nge-18 ke noma ke bexhumana nami nge-18 June 2020 ngayohlangana nabo eSibanye.
And it is your testimony that prior to, if I recall well, we have had massive evidence in this case. Sometimes you're bound to make mistakes here and there. Now, if I followed your evidence well, is that you then met him, Mr. Ntanzi, for the first time at Phuket?
In Carltonville, my lord. I met him for the first time. That part is correct, but it was in Carltonville, not in Phuket. In Carltonville. Yes.
I'm sorry to intercept you. I actually wanted to say at the Sibanye Gold Mine in Carltonville, not
yes,
Phuket.
Absolutely, that's correct, my lord.
Yebo ngenza iphutha ke yebo la mangihlangana naye kokuqala ke kwakuse Carltonville ayi ePhuket.
Now, according to Sergeant Mokhane, when they started to talk to him, yourself and Sergeant Muhula, you were not there. It was only him and Mabena.
Well, if Sergeant Mokhane said that, then I wasn't there. I can only relate to my presence when I arrived and met accused two, my lord. What happened prior, I think Sergeant Mokhane and Mabena would be in a better position to deal with that.
NgokukaMokhane ke wena ke noMkhula naningekho ke lapho kuma kuukuthi ke iloko ekusho yena ke Mokhane kanjalo ke ngoba ke okwenzeka ngaphambi kokuthi ngifike angeke ngikwazi.
That is correct. And according to Mokhane, upon your arrival, they introduced you to accused number 2, and they then gave you a space that you should talk to accused number 2, if my memory serves me well.
I'm not sure how Mokhane put it, my lord, but yes, I was introduced to accused 2. I introduced myself, and then we carried on with the interview.
Thank you.
NgokaMokhane ke babethula nabo kuwena ke base bekunika ke manje isikhala ke noma ke isikhathi ke sokuthi ke ukhulume naye angazi ukuthi uSergeant Mokhane wakusho kanjani kodwa yebo ngazithula ke naye bethula kumina ke sase siyakhulumisana ke suka lapho.
Thank you. Now, was there any particular briefing that Mokhane gave you with regard to the conversation that they had with accused number 2 upon your arrival at Carlton, where you met them?
No, there wasn't, my lord. So the first briefing I got from Mokhane, if I put it in sequence, was on the 16th in Sergeant Mabena. They could have briefed me collectively or individually. That indicated that they have arrested accused 2 in relation to Wanongoma matter. So that was the first briefing. I was then informed on the 18th that they are going to Carltonville. That's the briefing that I got. It was telephonical. And in that, they will also try and follow the alibi of the cases that they were investigating in Carltonville. That's when, my lord, I asked, because it was brought to my attention that he seems to be saying he's at work, something to that effect. And that's when I said, look, let me meet you in Carltonville because this aspect relating to this matter is something that I want to handle myself. Then they can carry on with their matters. So that is the brief I got, but not when I arrived. It was prior to my arrival telephonically.
Ingabe khona yini abakutshela kodwa ke manje nge-18 uma ufika ke lapho ukuthi ke ngokukhulumisana noma ukuxoxisana kwabo kwenzekani? Cha, uma beqala ke unjela ke kwakungazo i-16 uma bengazisa ke ukuthi ke bambopha umsolo wesibili bembophela lona ke icala labanongoma bese kuthi ngazo i-18 bakhuluma nami ke ngocingo bengazisa noma bengitshela ukuthi ke baya eCarltonville kukhona ke abayokuphenya ke mayelana ke nalelo cala lelo labanongoma uma sebengitshela ke mayelana naleli icala ukuthi ke batshele ukuthi wayesemsebenzini ngathi lolo udaba ke ngifuna ukuthi mina ke ngiyizele noma ke kube yimina obhekelana nalolo daba ngathi ke asihlangane eCarltonville.
So part of the information that I briefed you about also had to do with the current case that we're busy with.
Yes, I think my recollection, my lord, it was to an extent that he said to them, I don't know at what stage that he was at work and they wanted to debrief me on that one, and I said, I want to be present. But mainly it was the matters that they were seized with. But this particular one, as I was the lead IO, my lord, they had to brief me in terms of, and take guidance from me in terms of what must be done.
Kokunye ke abakutshela kona ke bakutshela ke mayelana nalo leli icala eliphambi manje yebo bangitshela ukuthi ke wabatshela ukuthi wayesemsebenzini angazi ke ukuthi kwakusiphi isikhathi mabatshela lokho ngathi ke kulolo udaba ohlangana naleli icala ngoba kuyimina ke oholithimbe ephenyayo ngifuna ke ukuthi ke kube yimina obhekana nalo bona ke abangaqhubeka ke ngamanye la amacala babeyele kuwo.
Thank you. Now you meet accused number 2 at Carltonville. You then had a discussion, a consultation with him in respect of this case, which was the reason why you had to drive to Carltonville, not so?
Yes, my lord. But it wasn't a detailed discussion. It was, obviously, without repeating what I've said, my lord, that after the warning of the constitutional rights, it was to say, I have a reason to believe, and this is how it unfolded, that he was involved in the murder of Meiwa. And the response, so this is how it unfolded. And I'm saying that because that's how the discussion took place, was to say, no, it's not correct. I was at work, and he specified the date, the 26th. That's what I took note of, that the date was then set by him. And that then led us to say, okay, since we say we're at work and we are not far from Sibanya mine, let's then follow that alibi. So that's how it unfolded.
Nase nikhulumisa noma ke ninoxoxa ke mayelana nodaba noma icala leli eliphambi kwenkantolo manje uma kwenzeka ke lokho kwakuwukuthi ke engitshela ukuthi ngelanga lelo ke la yimina uma wamtshela ngexoxa ke mina wamtshela ukuthi ke nezathu sokholelwa ukuthi ke wena ke uyabandakanyeka ke kwicala lelo kulawo kwakhe isenzo wasephendula ke ethi cha mina ke ngangisemsebenzini futhi washo idate ke ngabe sengisithi ke ngoba ke singekudeke kunendawo yakho yokusebenza asiye khona ke siyokulandelela khona lokho.
Yes.
Oh, the explanation is okay. No, thanks. Then from there, you went on to follow his alibi. You went to the place where he was working. You got the information that you were looking for in relation to his alibi.
Yes, which said it was false from Mr. Mulder specifically in his presence.
Yebo ke saya ke khona lapha isebenza khona ke washo ke Mr. Mulder ekhona ke umsolo ukuthi cha kwamasona iqiniso lokho angitshela khona.
Now that is, according to you, the first time that you had an interaction with accused number 2, wherein you had to talk to him about this case, not so?
Yes, that's correct. So sorry to interject, sorry, I thought you were done. Yes, that is correct.
Thank you.
Yebo kuyiqiniso kwakuyihlanda loqala ke lelo ke ngikhuluma naye ngihlangana naye kumsolo ngikhuluma naye mayelana naleqala leli.
Now, subsequent to you receiving the information that you got from his employees, did you have another discussion with him whilst at Carltonville in relation to this case?
Yes, correct, my lord. I obviously, the other part that I confronted him with was in relation to the identity kit, where I put to him that I'm also of the view that the identity kit, the suspect with the hoodie, according to my view, resembles him. Which was then denied, my lord. That is the second discussion I had with him. He said, no, it's a question of mistaken identity. So it was denied by him to say the person is actually him on the identity.
Uphindileke futhi unise lapho ke eCarltonville wakhuluma naye yini mayelana nalo icala leli eliphambi kwenkantolo yebo kungenkathi ke manje sengikhuluma naye ke ngimtshela ke ukuthi ke noma ngimtshela nge-identity noma ke umdwebo loyana ngithi ke mina ke umuntu loyana odwetshwe laphayana ogqoke ihoodie ufana naye ke ila esesho khona ke yena ukuthi cha iphutha ke lelo elenziwe akusiyena lo.
Thank you. Now, you also told this court that in the content of your conversation, there was a point where accused number 2 then gave you the date of the 26th of October 2014. That is where your interest then started to develop about his possible involvement in this case. Is that not so?
No, the interest was already developed, my lord. Court will remember that when his name came up, on the statement disposed by Mr. Absalom Zungu. The interest started there.
Okay.
So when he said that, it's something that I took note that there was already a cold case analysis done on him and accused one. Hence, the other cases were already identified, and the focus of investigation, or the interest to get to him, was already there. So this is something that I noted to say, but how could he know the exact date? So that's something that just stick on my mind to say. I didn't give him the date, but he just gives me the date to say on this specific day I was at work, I could not have committed that offense.
Ushilo-ke ukuthi nikhulumisana noma nisaxoxa-ke yena-ke wase ekunikeza-ke i-date leya-ke i-26 October 2014 ila usukade khona-ke manje-ke ukuthi-ke unake-ke noma-ke ubheke-ke cha lokho aqalanga lapho uzokhumbula-ke ukuthi igama lakhe laliselivelile-ke kwistatimende esenziwa uyena-ke umnumzana u-Absalom Zungu. So manje uma yena-ke esengitshela ngedate umsolo wesibili engitshela ngedate yange-26 October 2014 ngingashongo mina-ke na-ke i-date ila-ke manje engithe lokho ngabukisisa khona-ke.
Thank you. I don't know what your comment to this will be, because this is what Mukhane told this court, that they, in the process of them investigating this other case against him, the case relating to cocaine, or the Kwanongoma case, they also, in one way or the other, they also introduced the subject of this case, and this is how they introduced it. Thank you. Mukhane told this court that what is it that accused number 2 knows about the death of Mnisi? And accused number 2 responded by saying that he heard that on the news because it was all over the media. Let me pause there. Do you have any comment?
My Lord, that was, I don't want to venture to the discussion between Sergeant Mukhane and the accused, particularly if he led that evidence in court. I was not here.
Yes,
so I would like to help, but I wasn't in court, my Lord.
Mukhane-ke awakutshela le nkantolo-ke ukuthi naye-ke umsolo wesibili base bembuza-ke ukuthi-ke yini ayaziyo mayelana necala-ke lokushona kwakhe uMeyiwa. Uma ebaphendula-ke umsolo wathi-ke yena-ke ubonile-ke kumabonakude ngoba-ke ligcwele-ke noma likhona-ke liyavezwa-ke ey'ndabeni yini ongayisho na kulokho engekho noma ngangekho-ke ngenkathi uSergeant Mukhane ukufakaza kule nkantolo manje-ke angeke-ke ngifuna ukuthi ngingene lapho.
Can you just get clarity as to on which days Sergeant Mukhane testified about this, the occasion, and as to exactly when did this discussion take place? Because Sergeant Mukhane said several interactions with accused number 2.
I'm reading from my notes, my lord. Unless my colleague is suggesting that I should have gone into the record and go back and read and do as he's suggesting. If he feels that what I'm putting to this witness is not what Mukhane said, then he should raise that. But I cannot be expected to come and say on such and such a date, this is what Mukhane said, and this is found in this portion, and this is what. I was taking notes. I can only refer him to my notes, and unfortunately, I do not have the date. I did not write the date on which this testimony of Mukhane was preferred. So, but the gist of what I'm saying is, if he feels that what I'm putting to this witness is not what Mukhane says, then he needs to mention that. Then we'll go and revisit that. But to expect me to do as he does, it's going to be very cumbersome, because I'm going to request a postponement so that I go and read Mukhane's testimony in its entirety, and I think it goes up to 2 weeks. Does it please the court?
It's fine, we can proceed, my lord. We will correct the record at the later stage.
Thank you.
Should any arise.
Thank you. Now, you would then agree with me that when accused number 2 gave them that response, that he had it on the news, it was all over the media, he was telling the truth, because this incident of the killing of Mr. Meyiwa took place in 2014, 26 October, and he gets confronted with this allegation on 2020, which is almost 6 years, so it was all over the media, not so.
Correct, my lord, but that's precisely the reason that it was 6 years later. For me, it's quite interesting that you will remember that specific day. It's a different, and this is now me, my lord, it's a different story of saying, I've heard on the news that this person was killed. And that's not what he told me, my lord, and I'm referring to me. That's not what he told me. But to say 6 years later, this incident happened on that specific day.
Gininda, we're still talking about what he told Mukhane, not you.
Yes, but my lord, I think I dealt with that part. That insofar as what Mukhane and accused to discussed, it will be difficult for me to get in there because I was not there, number one.
Yes.
Number two, I said, even when Sergeant Mokhane testified, I was not in court.
Thank you.
I can only refer to the discussion that accused to had with me, and that's what I was trying to explain why I found it peculiar and interesting.
Thank you.
Kodwa-ke uzovuma-ke ukuthi uma wabaphendula ngaleyo ndlela-ke ukuthi wayekhuluma iqiniso ngoba-ke impela-ke ukuthi-ke kwakuyicala leli elalikhona-ke kuma-TV noma-ke elalisakazwa-ke yebo-ke lokho ngakuvuma-ke kodwa-ke ukuthi-ke emuva kweminyaka eyisithupha akhumbuleke ilanga noma akhumbuleke idate-ke iyona nje into eyagqama-ke leyo ukuthi yebo noma-ke lalivela-ke kumabona ku-TV kodwa-ke ukuthi emuva kweminyaka eyisithupha umuntu akhumbule ilanga iloko nje okwagama.
Now, having asked him that question, they went on to ask him, where was he on the 26th of October 2014? To which he replied, I was at a mine at Westonali. That's what Mokhane says.
My Lord, I was not there. I don't know what really to say much about that session.
Bese bembuzileke lokho base umbuzo olandelayo ke bambuza ukuthi wayekuphi-ke yena ngalelo langa lelo waphendula-ke wathi wayesemayini e-Western area ngangingekho-ke akukho-ke engaphendula kulokho.
Now, subsequent to that, then Mokhane went on to say on the 18th of June 2020, which is the day on which you also met them, they followed his alibi at Western area, specifically at Sibanye Steel Water.
I can agree about the 18th.
Yes.
That's why I met them a lot.
Waqhubeka-ke uMokhane wathi-ke ngeyazo i-18 June 2020 ila manje abaya khona-ke kwindawo lapho-ke emayini e-Western area beyoqinisekisa-ke lokho ayekusho lokho-ke kwange-18 ngakuvuma-ke bona ngoba ngangikho noma ilanga lelo engahlangana nabo.
Now, the point being, because in your evidence in chief, you said, amongst others, you found it very strange. Why would he specifically remember his whereabouts on the 26th of October 2014 when you have not put it to him? Now, would that not have been because of the fact that he had already been confronted with the same information before you confronted him? In other words, when you confronted him, your colleagues had already confronted him with the same allegations.
So, my Lord, I'll answer it in this various forms. If he was confronted, as it's been put to me, yes, logic will make sense that it's still fresh in his memory, he might remember if it happened like that. But I was not briefed as such by Sergeant Mokhane, as it's been put to me, that we've confronted him, we gave him the date, and this is what he said. That's not the brief I got. I don't remember specific dates being given to me, my Lord. That's the first part.
Manje-ke uma kukanjalo-ke uma esethi kuwena-ke noma-ke eyikhulumela ngedate kuwena-ke ingabe lokho bangaphumi noma ngaqhamuki yini ekuthini oza kwethu babe sebekhulumile-ke naye base bemnikeza-ke imininingwane efana nayo-ke idate uma mina-ke ngihlangana nabo-ke ngazo i-18 zika-June 2020 uma uSergeant Mokhane-ke ekhuluma nami noma engixoxela-ke akangitshelanga ngaleyo ndlela-ke le manje engiyitshelwayo la enkantolo ukuthi-ke bese sikhulumile naye sayisho idate kuyena.
And when I spoke to him, my Lord, this is accused too, he didn't say to me, I already got this information or the dates or the details to Sergeant Mokhane, or I already gave to them. That was not put to me, my Lord, by the accused himself, accused too.
Okwesibili-ke uma mina ngikhuluma naye-ke umsolo wesibili akashongo kumina-ke ukuthi-ke bese ngikhulumile naye-ke uSergeant Mokhane kanye nozakwabo-ke noma-ke bebeseyishilo-ke idate kumina-ke ngale ndlela-ke ekushiwo ngayo mina ngikhuluma ngaye umsolo wesibili.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Brigadier. We are not privy, accused could not have been privy to what Mokhane told you about. All that I'm referring to here is what Mokhane told this court. Thank you.
My Lord, yes, I hear what the Advocate Mnisi is saying. The essence of my response is that if accused 2, for example, had said to me, I was informed by Sergeant Mokhane about this date, I'll leave it at that. There's nothing much to say someone remembers the date. Or if he said to me, I just watched the news a few days ago where this date was articulated, and that's how I remember that it happened on this day, and on this day I know I was at work, it would have been a reasonable and logical explanation. One will not put something or try to make something out of that explanation because it will be reasonable, my Lord. That's not the impression I got when I spoke to him, my Lord.
Uma kuwukuthi-ke noma-ke akazange asho kumina-ke ukuthi-ke uSergeant Mokhane-ke ebesembuzile ngalo daba wase ne-date eyisho-ke noma athi kumina-ke kumalanga nje ambalwa-ke andlule bengibuke i-TV ngalibona-ke lelo daba kukhulunywa ngalo kwi-TV futhi-ke ne-date bayisho lokho-ke bekuzoba into ezwakalayo-ke bengeke-ke ufuna ukwenza into ngaleyo nto leyo kodwa mina-ke uma ngikhuluma naye-ke angizange ngiyithole ngaleyo ndlela noma-ke izwakale ngaleyo ndlela.
Thank you, Brigadier. I don't want to argue this point or to make a meal out of it, but if you are throwing it back to accused number 2, that he did not tell you that he had already explained what you are asking him to Mokhane, the same question could as well be asked from you, whether did you ask him he had already told Mokhane what he was telling you? and which you did it. Not so.
No, absolutely. I think that will be fair if you prove it to me. Yeah.
So this point does not take us anywhere.
Yeah. No.
Actually, it does not take you per se anyway, not us.
All right. No.
Thank you.
No, I differ. It does, my lord, take us somewhere. It does take me somewhere because counsel is looking at an isolated discussion. He is not collaborating it with the events that took place afterwards, and that's how you must. This is what I was telling. This is what I was saying, my lord, when I say collaboration. So you take the fact that a date was given, ungiven by me, what was accused to. You then subsequently follow the events that followed, that led to the confession of Colonel Rapadu, the magistrates. If you take that, it does indeed create an impression as to why this person knew about this date. You can't take it in isolation, my lord, because it did not end on the date. After the date, the identity